We are the degenerates that want to talk about it. Welcome to Kicking Out at 2. As always, I'm Mike. This is Tori. Hey, Tori.
Howdy, howdy. This is the
Today,
whitest thing ever. I really have to come up with something better.
meh. All right, today we are talking about Winter is Coming from AEW. One of their shows that are not a pay-per-view, but not a show, but not a pay-per-view, but not a
I
show.
honestly, I'm not a fan of them naming every show. Like, stop it. Make them seem important. Doing them all like this just takes away from that.
I don't disagree. I always thought it was a weird concept. Um, I'm okay if you want to do a branded show, like a super show,
Right.
um, but don't have it be your normal Dynamite program.
It
It
needs to
kind
be.
of do
This
that,
is.
do a bridge between. It's not a pay per view thing. It's just a special show, like on a Saturday or something.
I mean, yeah, like a Saturday night's main event type thing. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a pay per view. Just do a big show one night between your, because they do what, 4 a year?
hmm Something like
Do
that.
you do a big show in between each of them? Like, you've got
Yeah.
a pretty solid window there. Do one big show in between that's not a pay-per-view, so you're not doing all that. Something. I don't know.
Yep.
It seems like they're naming everything.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it has to do with them having some sort of partnership contract with the things that these are obviously akin to. Like this is obviously a Game of Thrones thing, House of Dragons, in that realm of
TNT.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
TNT in general. So obviously they might have to do it. They may not have a choice. But if they do, then absolutely, I think doing a big show, every few months in between a pay per view might be a better option. So decent overall card. So the matches we had on this is we had the best of seven.
Which
New matchup
jerked
for that.
the curtain.
It was jerk the curtain. We had Ruby Soho and Ty Mello against each other. We had Chris Jericho against Action Andretti, which that's something that'll be fun to talk about here shortly. House of Black versus The Factory, and then of course MJF versus Ricky Starks as our main event. Um,
As always, Sonic plug.
yep. By God. So we had Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Taz on commentary tonight. So yeah, we kicked off with the best of seven series. I really liked this one. Like we keep talking about how on the best of seven specifically that watching an elite match 7 times in a row would be very difficult and it'd be very tiring. This one played a little bit more into story, which I really liked.
I feel like they're definitely changing it up.
Yeah.
You're still going to get some spot monkey. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the Bucks thing. It's the Lucha Bros thing. I mean, they're spot monkeys. We get that.
Right.
But I feel like there's a lot more enhancement things that are happening
Mm-hmm.
to make it more interesting.
Yes. So in this one, kind of the story through was that at one point, um, Kenny was kind of really the only one on his team that was healthy enough to really kind of do
Yeah.
the match. Second. No, that's just my smother. All right. So like what it started off with is Nick. So Nick does a dive to the outside, and plays it off that he landed awkwardly on his ankle. So he
Right.
gets in. He looks like he's trying to walk it off, stomp it off. Seems like he can't. Played it off really well. Like it
I
made
was
me
going to say,
think that he was actually hurt.
I didn't see the spot. Did he actually come down weird on the ankle?
Like a little bit,
Okay.
but enough where like it could have seemed believable.
Okay.
Because he did play it off really well. Like there was a lot of talking in the corner of like, no,
Right.
I need you to get in here. I need you to do this, and then go to get
He,
tag
he
him and
would
be
go
like,
to
no,
tag him. He'd be like, tag him.
yeah,
No, that's what I'm saying. They did some things in this one that I was like, I am a big fan of this.
yeah. It was very good storytelling. Even so much that, um, the cold spray, like it's a gimmick, but it is something that's actually used for injuries. And so like he gets out and Brandon Cutler's like
Spraying him down.
spraying him down, and then they actually get Doc Samson out
Right.
to look at the ankle, and then all of a sudden we come back from commercial, and Nick's in the back,
Yeah.
like they pulled him out. So it
Taz or
seemed,
Excalibur talked about the fact that Nick Jackson's been taken to the back to have his ankle looked at. And I
yeah,
was like, dude, if he's actually hurt and it fucks this up,
mm-hmm.
do you replace him with somebody else to keep it going? Do you just say they can't do it and they forfeit? Like, if he was legit hurt, like how are we doing this?
Yeah. Um, I would think we'd have to throw someone in there. Like I don't think we'd just pause the best of seven.
Who? Who?
Oh, oh, I don't know.
But that's just
Because
it. I don't with the crew that they have there, Adam Cole and Red Dragon are not in the ring right now. And
right,
Red Dragon doesn't even work there anymore.
right,
Cole's not able to go yet.
right.
Paige is not going to go out there. Like, their circle of friends, there's not a ton of options. What do you again?
Yeah,
I have Jay White show up.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you pull someone from New Japan and do that. Maybe you get a Takeshita, or um, maybe pull in. Oh, who's the other one? Omega's buddy. Shoot, he was in NXT for a little while, and then he went back to Japan.
Huh?
Uh, Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi.
Kota
Okay, I
Ibushi.
was like
Yeah, sorry, it took me a second to get the name back, but yeah, Kota
the
Ibushi. Like, yeah,
Rainmaker.
maybe pull him in. No,
I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, if Nick was legit hurt, like, and obviously the ankle is now going to be a target.
yeah.
So we're going to make it look like he's hurt. So when they win the titles, it's
It's
even bigger
sympathy,
face pop?
probably because of what happens later. Before we get to the end of it, and then at some point, not as bad, but Matt starts favoring his shoulder, like
Yeah, I
something with his
missed
arm.
that.
Yeah, just a little bit. It wasn't a lot. Omega did too, which Omega had the problems with the shoulder in the first place. So
He came
like,
down, he did a planche or something, came down on his shoulder.
yeah, and it was very much like we were playing it off like the Elite are broken down. Like,
Like they're banged up.
yeah. Um, so we get to a point like Matt's kind of out of it on the floor. Omega's trying to, fight his way out.
Right.
He's down there looking for the hot tag. Nobody's there. And then here comes Nick limping back. So at this point, we knew that whole thing was a work, but like, I'm glad it was. I'm glad it was just a storyline thing, that there's not a chance that Nick's actually hurt. But so he comes out there.
Okay, so here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Nick was actually hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Can they really stop him from coming back? Are they going to have time to do the medical evaluations necessary rather than him just jump up and be like, "No, fuck this. We'll do it later," and walk back out there? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, in essence, with him being one of the higher ups in the company, probably not. He probably could just say, "Look, I'm going out there. You can check me out when we get back." Um,
Right.
the way he was moving there towards the end, I don't think he is. But you're right though. Like, if he was
Even
back
if
there and
he
he was
did,
actually hurt, he'd have been like, "I'm gone. We're gonna go."
before they had a chance to do anything, you and I both know that Nick would have been like, "Hey, I'm going to run to the bathroom, lace
I gotta
that
pee.
shit
I'll be
up,
right
and
back.
head back out there." Like,
Yeah. Um, but so he comes out there. He catches Phoenix with an anti-air cutter. He
with a
tries to
what?
do it anti-air cutter.
What
So
the
like,
hell?
Phoenix went to jump off the ropes and he caught him off the ropes with the cutter.
Oh, I was like, "A what?"
Yeah.
That's a
Um,
great name for it. Is that somebody else's name, or did you just come up with that?
no, that's the name off of the transcript that I'm reading off of
Oh, I was like, that's
WrestlingHeadlines.com.
a great ass name. What the hell?
uh, so Nick goes to super kick Phoenix at that point, and then Penta drills him with a hammer on the ankle.
Which is
Uh,
fucking brilliant.
yeah. So really great. That gets Phoenix looking kind of perplexed because he the story with him and the hammer is the part that confuses me because he had no problem using it at the pay-per-view, and then
No,
now
he
he's back
didn't.
to
No, that's not true though. Because he several times was like, "No, I don't need it. No, I don't need it. No, I don't need it." And then they were about to lose, and he's like, "Oh, okay, bam."
well, and that's what I'm
Like,
saying. Like he turned that corner, and now we're back to he doesn't want to use it. So that story is a little bit weird to me. But he puts him in a knee bar. Nick taps almost immediately. A really good opener. Like these guys don't have bad matches, and the fact that they changed up the story so it wasn't just a you know bunch of super kicks and a bunch of flip flops and a bunch of dives. Like it
flippy floppy wrestling.
flippy floppy wrestling. Yeah. It was good. It was a good opener.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Phoenix thing is kind of dumb. You used it, you won the match, and you were cool with it, but then we come back to the next match 2 weeks later, and you're not cool with it.
Yeah, and
Like
that's
you
kind of where I am with
literally
it.
used it to win the match.
Yeah, it seems a little weird to me. So I
That's
certainly
the
agree.
flippy floppy I'm not okay with.
So Kenny takes the mic as Death Triangle are leaving the ring. He says there's going to be enough talking on the rest of the show, which that I don't know if you say that about your own show, but okay.
Look, he's not booking the show. I'd have said
Yeah.
it too.
But Omega says that they're down to 3-1 deficit, which makes it hard for them to come back. How about this? Next time, let's make the hammer legal. In fact, let's make all weapons legal.
No DQ. Once he said let's make the hammer legal, I'm like, please tell me we're not putting it on a poll.
Yeah, it's going to be up there with Judy Bagwell. She could be holding it. No, so we did find out later in the night.
Coffin? Like, what are we doing?
We did find out later in the night that Tony Khan had agreed that would be no DQ, and then if we get to a sixth one, the sixth one will be Falls Count Anywhere. So,
and the seventh one, if we have it, is a ladder match.
Oh, see, I didn't hear that one.
There is no chance this is not going 7 because a ladder match with these 6. Take my money. Yeah. Take my money.
Yeah, no, they'll win the next 2, and we'll get to that 7th match.
Take my money. If
so,
they don't, then somebody is legitimately hurt.
Yeah. Well, and so if it is just part of the story, and that's why it definitely, you can tell by when Nick came out, the ovation he got when he came back out, it was to get them the babyface pop,
and it worked.
Yeah,
100%.
So definitely, if they show up at the next one and we got rock tape on 2 shoulders and we got him limping around, they're going to be the sympathetic babyface, getting beat up the entire match, and then they're going to pull it out both times. So definitely helps. MJF has a little thing where he talks about. Okay. MJF has a thing basically saying that he wants to know that he's going to beat the Pebble tonight, and the Pebble will turn into a diamond. Everyone thinks he is, or will he turn into dust? The Acclaimed is here, and Caster barely gets through his second verse before he gets attacked behind by Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt. Bowens gets tossed around the announcer's table. Caster gets blasted with a guitar by Jarrett, which Jarrett then says his wonderful line, "Choke on that slap nuts," because you can't have Jeff Jarrett hitting the guitar without saying slap nuts, apparently.
I see.
So the only reason I care is because we had one of the greatest guitar moments on Monday Night Raw, and now we have Jeff Jarrett hitting with a guitar.
And then you came out and did this, and
yeah. Which I heard I don't care because it's Jeff Jarrett. I don't care. This whole Last Outlaw thing is.
Look, the fact that Jeff Jarrett is still wrestling all these years later and actually looks to be in decent shape, I can't hate on the man for the career.
No. I don't hate on him.
It's 2022 and we're still doing the El Kabong and it gets a response.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Yeah.
But after that thing Monday, there's no chance I'd have brought that guitar out and used it like that. There's no chance.
No.
They're just.
Yeah. So Tony Giovanni's in the back with the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho says that he's going to beat up the Jobber tonight, and that he's going to go get his ROH title back. Jericho tells Daniel Garcia, because he reminds him that he also lost his title, that he needs to listen to his elders from now on, so listen to Sammy. So,
I
Sammy...
see. We talked about this when we talked about the Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't watched it, go back and watch that episode. Shameless plug.
Yep.
Right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But this is the start of Daniel leaving the JAS.
Mm-hmm.
This is the start. I think they're going to, based on this and other things we'll get to, I think the JAS is just going to break up.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because Sammy had his arm, blah, 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 and Danny Garcia's like, fuck off me.
Yeah.
So I just...
We may be playing it back to he's going to start drifting away from it because he realizes that being a sports entertainer is not going to win him matches. So that could be where we're going. That leads us to our next match, Jungle Jack Perry versus Brian Cage. I mean, I'm not a massive Cage fan. However, I thought this was going to be an easy win for Cage because massive dude, little dude.
I love Jungle Boy. Mm-hmm. I do. First of all, he's so ridiculously over with the crowd.
Yes.
And he's legit. To me, I feel like he is legit over. Like, they love that kid.
Yeah.
Win, lose, whatever. They love that kid. But again, it's the homegrown talent.
Yeah.
That I saw this match and I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, why?
Yeah, it's a weird thing because, like, so Cage is now part of the Trios champions. So
the Ring of Honor Trios champions, though. So are we not mentioning that because we have our own Trios titles that are important? Then why is he on the show?
Well, no, yeah. So that's the thing to me. So even if we're not mentioning it, like, he doesn't have a Trios anymore. So what's the point of Jungle Boy and Brian Cage? Like, what's the point of this matchup?
I feel like, cover the match and then I'll get to why I think it matters.
Yeah. And just say, not that it was a bad match. It was a good match. But we end up towards the end of it. Cage is looking for the F10, but Jungle Boy answers with a destroyer. He tries to put a snare trap on, but Prince Nana is up on the apron, and Aubrey doesn't see the tapping because she's distracted by that.
Great heel tactic. It's an old trope, and I love it.
It's an old trope. I love it. But we decided to have one Dusty thing happen, so we're going to have a second Dusty thing happen right after. So at that point, Cage inadvertently hits Nana, and Jungle Boy then rolls him up for a quick 3 count. So we had going to be a finish for the heels because we're distracted, and then that backfired on them.
Face win because the heels collided.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I don't have a problem with the win.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap win, quick roll up, whole weight on him, folded him. First of all, there's no chance Brian Cage could not kick him off. But the fact that he just rolled out of the ring after the fact and didn't proceed to beat the living shit out of Jungle Boy.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of to my point of, like, so he's a trios champion. He's got 2 partners and then some people. Why are we winning? Why are we winning a title at a pay-per-view and then immediately losing to Jungle Boy? Why is his team not then beating the hell out of Jungle Boy?
This was one of those that it should not have been Brian Cage. It should have been somebody like Nick Camarado or something.
Yeah.
I know why it wasn't, but that just someone of that level is who it should have been, because this made 0 sense.
Yeah. Jungle Boy has the mic, and he tells us that he's beaten Luchasaurus, Brian Cage, and he wants the biggest match of them all. He wants Big Bill. Stokely is here and says that Jungle Boy's face pisses him off. Stoke says Jungle Boy We'll see two things tonight: the bottom of Big Bill's boot and the back of Stoley's hand, because Jungle Boy is a hoe. Jungle Boy charges, but Lee Moriarty is there, and here comes Big Bill. The firm destroys Jungle Boy, finishing it off with a chokeslam from Big Bill. So, like, he still gets the beatdown, but it's like, we didn't need that match to lead up to a beatdown from another crew.
Why didn't he just come out and talk? Basically everything that happened after the match could have been a segment.
Yeah, it could have been the whole segment.
Because that dude, he ran. First of all, I've heard so many great things about Stokely on a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to give a shit when he has the microphone. Like, I heard all these wonderful things about how good he was, and he was good in NXT, WWE, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not impressed.
Yeah, they have him in a weird spot, and he hasn't really done anything impressive so far. Here's the thing that gets me. Like, I get you needed a match, so you needed to have more time than just the segment can give. But then why not have him beat Lee Moriarty the same way? And then you already have Big Bill out there. You still have Stokely out there.
Cage and Jungle Boy was a good match. I'm not taking away from that match.
Right. It was a good match.
But for storyline reasons, him and Moriarty could have had just as good or possibly a better match. But this is what we did. Like, you know what? A part of this is I'm still salty that Max Caster didn't get to finish his rap because that shit was fire so far.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Stokely doesn't impress me.
Yeah.
Like, nothing about this guy has impressed me. Big Bill, like we talked about in the news segment, is stupid. Just call him Big Cat. At this point, just call him Cass.
Yeah.
Or stick with W. Morrissey. It was just call him Morrissey. I don't care. Big Bill? What is this, a sandwich? That's a burger. That's a burger at a place I've been eating at since a kid. Like,
I have made the joke every single time, and all I can think of is Lil Bill, which was a Nickelodeon cartoon that Bill Cosby made. That's all I can think of. And the fact that it was supposed to be a little Bill Cosby, and you got little Stokely with him. So it's like Big Bill and Lil Bill.
Nope. Not getting canceled.
Nope. So the beatdown happens, and then all of a sudden Hook comes out. Which, first of all, Sting needs to be pissed off because Tony yelled, "It's Hook!" like he yells at Sting. So, first of all, sir, slow down.
The Acclaimed, for me, the Acclaimed had pop of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their pop right now is otherworld right now. Otherworldly for that company. They are pop of the night.
That's because people love the Acclaim, scissor me daddy ass.
I fucking love those kids. I didn't like them at first. I love those kids.
Yeah.
But the pop that Hook got when that music hit
was insane.
That was reminiscent of a Dolph cashing in Philly.
Yeah.
I think it was Philly.
Yeah, it was like such a big pop.
That pop was, I was like, this kid's had like 20 matches.
Yeah, but so here's where, whether it's smart or lucky, either way, they've had him off TV for a little while.
Right.
And so the first thing you do is you put him with what is possibly the most over single act in the company to come out and save him.
Yeah.
Because 3 dudes beating down Jungle Boy. Yeah, whoever's coming out there to save him, like, it could have been Danhausen. It could have been anybody, really.
Could have been Best Friends. It could have been anybody.
And they probably would have got some to the same level. However, Hook being off TV for a while, so we haven't got to see Hook just decimate people like he does.
That's fair.
It was good booking or luck, one of the two. Either way.
Some of both.
Yeah.
I think Hook gets a good response every time.
Yeah.
I just felt like that pop was a lot.
It was a lot. I agree. I caught the same thing. So the firm bails as Hook stands tall. Stokely says the firm only fights on their time. Hook then extends a hand to Jungle Boy. So there we go.
I look,
And so then
like I
now we
said,
have the Jungle Hook.
first of all, I need them to stop. I need them to stop doing this with everybody they put him with. I actually am. I love Hook as a singles wrestler, but I'm a fan of getting him into a story like this and some tag matches because Jungle Boy's a great tag team wrestler.
Yes.
We know Big Cass is. I'm sorry. I'm just you're Big Cass, bro. Yeah. Lee Moriarty. I've seen him in some tag team matches. Lee Moriarty. He's one of those guys to me that will go down as a good hand.
Yeah.
He's not a world beater, but he's a good hand.
He reminds me a lot of Wesley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good tag team wrestler, good singles wrestler. Probably never going to break board above being just a good
mid-card
in-ring wrestler.
You'll get your shot at some point once, and that'll be your one. Yeah. You can tell your grandkids about it. But I'm Hook and Jungle Boy. I'm interested. I think this will be a good pairing. It's like a good wine with a steak. So yeah, no, I'm interested to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I'm still waiting for the day that Hook gets a real challenge. So that's the thing I'm really waiting on. And
seeing Hook try to toss Big Cass around could be really interesting.
And maybe that's how we do it. Maybe we finally get someone that he can't just toss around and choke out. Maybe Cass is.
He choking Big Cass out at some point.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying I'm just saying him trying to do it a couple of times and not being able to do it. That might give me more. I want to
see him not be able to do it a couple times and come up with a creative way to do it.
Yes. Well, and especially with the little Taz things that they do, like him creatively putting it on and then Taz putting it over because he's like, look, he went here, and like being able to explain what just happened. That would be kind of fun. We got the Blackpool Combat Club. They're talking about their festivities over this last weekend. Moxley choked out Takeshita. Yuta elbowed Garcia into oblivion, and Claudio swung a grown man. So they say that this Friday Moxley finishes the last piece of the JAS, and he's going to eliminate Sammy Guevara.
So that was kind of one of those, another reason why I think we're winding down the JAS.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're going to start doing little things like this, and we're going to start to kind of see that fabric stretching. You know, it's going to start to come unwound.
Which I have thoughts about that, but we'll talk about that after the Jericho.
I want to say we forgot to mention the best part of that whole interview with Jericho and the boys, and it was the very last thing that was said, which is, "I like this hat."
Oh yeah.
I can't. So, Jack, stop it.
Much like when you joined the Google Meets call every time, that scared the hell out of me because it was just like nobody was talking. He was like, "I like this hat." Shit.
Like it just.
Why are you yelling?
He wants to make sure everybody knows that he likes this hat.
Dude.
It's so stupid, but it's perfect for him.
Do you see Hagar's Twitter?
No.
Okay. That's a shtick on Twitter too. Is he like he'll be shirtless pumping his gas with the hat on, and he goes, "I like this hat." That's all he says.
Stop it.
Him going down the freezer section at the Walmart in shorts and no shirt and just the hat. Going, "I like this hat."
Stop it.
So fun. So then we get House of Black versus the Factory. I think we kind of knew how this was going to go. So House of Black has, first of all, they have new music. You looking at it now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all it is. The person who's writing the story at WrestlingHeadlines.com says that he thinks it's Brody's band, God's Hate, that did the new music for House of Black.
Nice.
So that might be kind of cool. So it it does sound like it's due. It sounded different than it normally does. So kind of right off the bat, Camarado is in Hart's face, and I guess he's like I've never noticed this before. I guess he stole Scott Hall's gimmick of throwing a toothpick because he pulls a toothpick and throws it at her. But then
Okay.
she's
First of all,
did I
I
just give you an
just,
aneurysm?
I just, bro, you have been here for a cup of fucking coffee, and you think you can come out and do one of the best personal gimmicks ever done.
Yeah.
And that bitch carried on for a solid 20 years. And you
Mm-hmm.
think it's okay to just come out here and act like you're Scott Hall and flip a toothpick?
Yeah.
Bro, stop it.
But
You couldn't
Camera
carry Scott Hall's boots or his bag. Are you kidding me right now?
or his balls. Um, so he got his comeuppance though, because Hart stares him straight in the face and spits the mist at him. So that takes
Which
him out for
was
what's going on.
perfect. Perfect.
So at that point, though, then it just proceeds to beat everybody down. So QT's sitting in the corner, and he sees Matthews and King basically destroy everybody else. I could go through all the carnage that was there, but the thing that really got me is you had a guy laying down on a table, and you had Murphy pick the other guy up, and Murphy's law him into the other dude.
What's the Murphy's Law? I don't know what it
It's
is.
what he's got him up on the shoulders like fireman's carry, and then twists down, and he just like the dude
That's
like
nice.
an inch different, and he would have broke his damn neck. Like it was looked devastating. But so yeah, I mean they're tearing
Carnage.
they're just
Just
tearing people apart. And so then the camera pans back and notices that we still see Malachi sitting in one corner and
sitting
QT
there.
sitting in the
Just
other.
sitting there.
Yeah.
QT
Which
is standing in the other corner, pooping in his pants.
yeah. And so Malachi stands up. QT stands up. They walk a little bit towards each other. QT's decided he's not going to back down and walks straight into a black mass.
I'm sorry, sir. Why, after the carnage you have just watched, did you think that was a good idea?
Yeah. This is one of those like on Daddy Dave's scale, it's going to be like a -2 stars, but this is pro
Oh,
wrestling to me. Like
on
this
Tori's scale, this was 5-star all day. This
yeah.
shit was great.
It
First of all, Julia hitting the mist, the story that they have done with it, chef's kiss. That shit is
well,
so good.
well, and I made the reference of like kind of laughing like, oh, is Camarado going to join them now? But even if that's not the case, you're right. They have spit mist in other people's face, but there's still been a story along with it of what happens. Are we going to
Right.
start seeing him like with decaying looking face and
I I got it with Julia.
Mhm.
I got it with Rusev. They made it into something. Where is he, by the way? Like, have we had
uh
a?
so from everything I've read is currently they have nothing for him. So he is just waiting for them to come up with something for him. And I know we have like 50 different things we could book him in, but
Do
currently
they
they have
not?
nothing for him.
Anyway, I go back to my previous statement before we talked about the rest of the segment. It's Nick Camarado. You've been here for a cup of coffee. Nobody gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you do to this kid. There's nothing they're going to do, even if they put him in the House of Black, which they should never fucking do,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to care.
Yeah, no.
Unless you're literally just there to carry Julia Hart to the ring because she's a queen and doesn't have to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That could be good though.
that shit would be brilliant.
Have him be mute and show no emotion, and he's just carrying her on his shoulder. That actually wouldn't be bad.
I
He's
still
just
wouldn't care about him,
oh
but it'd be
oh oh.
great.
He's like her Solomon Grundy. Just complete like he does whatever she says to do. She just points and he goes tears someone up.
So
That's
she's
not bad.
Chitara and he's Solomon Grundy.
Hey,
First of all, why did it have to be DC? Why, like, you couldn't come up with something from Marvel that would have been better than that shit? The dumpster fire that is DC. I'm gonna catch some hate for this too, and I don't care. Come get the smoke.
ho. We will preface this real quick. Small little nerd talk. DCMU trash. DCTVU greatest underrated television ever, and they need to stop canceling everything because the end of Stargirl that we are now told we are not going to get any more of was amazing.
I haven't watched any of it. I will back you up on the DC TV, and the fact that the DCEU is MU is just hot smoking garbage
Now the animated universe,
is solid.
those are
That's
solid.
that's solid.
We have
I
like
don't know.
five different universes going on right now, which they need to stop that. But
You just lost your Batman too, so that's a whole different thing.
so anyway,
Right.
all right. So nerd talk aside, Britt Baker's in the back with Renee. Before she gets going, Sky Blue comes out, challenges
Or
her.
as you called her,
Wish.com, Cora Jade. Look, I like Sky Blue. I do. It's just, they came out at the same time.
they did.
Both wearing backwards hats. Both wearing the same gear. All Sky Blue needed was a skateboard and it would have been done. They would have been the same damn character. I'm really glad Cora made a change, so now there's a difference.
I feel like there's differences, but you're not 100% wrong. I mean, she's not blue pants, so
yeah, she challenges her for Rampage. So that's where we're going with that. John Moxley versus Sam Guevara and Britt Baker versus Sky Blue are apparently going to both happen Friday. So another kind of back to what we're talking about, Rampage. Some things that actually matter happening on Rampage. It's not a bad idea. That leads us into the shock of the night: Chris Jericho versus Action Andretti.
Okay.
Holy crap!
First of all, that kid is not bad.
No.
Apparently, they had I saw something today. We'll come back to it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the entire crowd is chanting "Let's go, Jobber,"
which is amazing. Oh my god!
First of all,
that warmed my soul.
But that's the thing though. Like, we're putting this kid against him, and he's so unknown that we're not even saying his name.
No,
we're just saying, "Let's go, Jobber." He didn't even get his own nameplate, by the way. If you notice that, the nameplate still said Jericho.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You're like so crappy. You don't even get your own nameplate, bro.
Nope. We're just gonna say the Ocho again. So essentially, like, most of it was just Jericho throwing him around. Like,
he hit a few moves.
He hit a few
things, and I was like, okay.
Yep. So
Jobber got in a little offense. Go you.
Yeah. Towards the end of the match, though, Jericho went to the outside. Andretti flies to the outside with an Arabian press. Back in the ring, Andretti comes off the top rope with a drop kick, but Jericho catches him into the walls.
Which was nice.
Yeah. Andretti counters the walls, though, into a roll-up, gets a 2 count for it. Andretti counters something with a Hurricanrana and a running shooting star press, and then gets the 3 count.
Okay. This is right up there to me with for me. This is right up there with the 1-2-3 Kid Razor Ramon gimmick.
Mm-hmm. Like the writer of these transcripts, again from Wrestling Headlines, references the Santino Marella coming out of the crowd.
And Umaga.
Like it's okay. It's so good to have this moment of holy shit, did that just happen?
Because it doesn't happen anymore. You don't get these moments where everybody goes,
"Yep,
hold on." Now, you get those moments of I can't believe that happened that way, but you don't get this moment, this type of moment.
So when we were texting back and forth about this match, I had made a mention of something, and I've thought about it more since then, and it just
Okay.
keeps going back in my head. So Jericho has played so many characters, so many roles. The only thing he has never been is a guy that has no confidence. And
You're not wrong.
if
And I
this is
think
what
that
breaks that
so
down, and he,
this right here is what made me start with I think they're going to break the JAS apart
yeah,
because he just lost to a jobber.
yeah,
So apparently this was Jericho's idea. I read something today about it, and he's had this idea in his pocket for months. I
hmm,
guess him and Tony Khan have seen this kid before, liked what they saw first, and this kid is all elite. Like they signed this kid.
oh yeah,
I was impressed with him to begin with, but then to do that whole thing and pull that off and make it look as good as they did, that was something Dynamite needed.
yeah. It
That was
needed a shot in
great
the
TV.
arm, and Jericho needed a shot in the arm too. So like, if this leads to another change for Jericho, that's not a bad thing because Jericho's
No,
current gimmick is getting a little stale with the whole JAS thing.
and
Um,
like I said, that what they did, everything they did tonight, the Sammy Daniel
yeah,
Garcia, that's going to end up in a match, and that's just going to be great.
right.
The Jericho taking the loss, the um, there was something else. Something else happened before this that I was like, they're just building. It feels like they're building this.
Are you talking about the fact that Moxley's taking on
Yes,
Guevara?
Moxley
Yeah,
Sammy.
yeah.
And the odds are somehow Daniels Garcia is going to cost him that match.
Hmm.
So that's why I think we're starting to see the beginning of the end of the JAS, which
Yeah.
I'm fine with because it's done its time. It was fun. Daddy Magic and Cool Hand don't need this.
No.
They are so hated right now, but they're so good.
Hmm.
So I think this is the beginning of the end of the JAS.
Yeah. Because I think everybody in that faction, aside from Sammy, I have my own thoughts of Sammy, but it's elevated everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't care when Hagar came in, um, and so now I care about him a little bit more being in the JS. Not a lot, but
It's the hat. Look, and
so
it's
you say
funny,
it's the
but it
hat.
is.
You say it's the hat, but it's the now he's allowing himself to be a parody of something where previously it was taking him too seriously.
I
It was
didn't
trying to make him
care.
seem like he's a badass MMA person, and he's not.
It's not working. He
Yeah,
is, but it's not working.
yeah. It doesn't work in a scripted environment. It's like
Here's
saying
the
Ken
thing.
Shamrock came in and he should beat everybody because he's Ken Shamrock, but he can't beat everybody
We're
because
not.
then
I I made that. That may be a great Kali rant for Ken Shamrock because I hate that guy. Um,
I wasn't a
but
massive fan either. But just the idea that like this badass MMA guy comes in theory, should just run through everybody.
right, and then he
But
took a bunch of jobber losses. But with Jake, Jack, whatever,
yeah,
Swagger had some title runs, but it was very much a here, hold this.
mm-hmm.
Nobody cared about him until We the People,
Mm-hmm.
until
Which
he
was a
had that
parody of something.
flag,
Yep.
until he had that something else to make him do something different.
Right.
As dumb as the hat is We the People.
Yeah. It's
He
something the fans can latch on to and go, "You're stupid," but in a funny way. Like
right.
it's like with earlier with him yelling it out of nowhere when everybody's done talking. Like it's a pop of oh shit, what the stop it.
Well, and it's one of those things that he's great in the ring. He
Yes.
he is a great in-ring performer.
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel like he's had a good enough career that at some point he'll be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
With the title runs, the tag title runs, IC, US, everything he's done, and how over that We the People thing was,
Yeah.
I feel like he'll get in.
So I'm gonna say this, and let me explain. I agree. He's like a Coco level Hall of Fame.
No, I agree.
People give Coco a lot of crap for the fact that he's in the Hall of Fame, but Coco was over. People loved Coco Beware.
A
And the
fucking
few
bird.
titles he won and how long his career was, definitely should have been in the Hall of Fame. Now, is he a headliner or even a pre-headliner? No, and neither will Jake.
But at the
Jake,
same time, to me, I'm gonna actually elevate that a little bit. To me, Jake is a Rikishi level.
okay, yeah,
I I feel like Coco got in. Coco got his was literally bad timing. That guy was
hmm
crazy talented.
yeah, he was ahead of his time.
He was, but that was part of the problem at the time
Yeah,
because at that time it was more about the flashy character.
hmm
And yeah, he was the Birdman, and he had Frankie the Bird. I can't believe I remember that damn bird's name. Um, but at the time, the storylines for African Americans weren't great.
well, and I mean, yeah, there is that, but there's also the type of wrestler he was because at the time you had him, you had the Owens, you had Flash Funk or Two Cold
Twofold.
Scorpio, which amazing wrestlers, great entertainers, but that style just wasn't over yet. People didn't
At
want
that
that yet.
time, at that time, it was big meaty men slapping meat.
hmm
With the exceptions of the machos, the steamboats, the
So,
Hennigs.
but the one thing you hear about those people all the time is that they carried themselves bigger than they were. That's the
True.
reason
That's
why Macho was always up on his toes and his arms were always up. It's the old adage like if a bear attacks you, look big. Like he was always making himself look bigger than he was.
that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, I think Hager gets in, but he needs that something else. The
Yeah.
inner circle was perfect because he was Jericho's big man.
hmm
This another one, he was still Jericho's big man, but this hat thing has given him personality,
Yeah.
and I think that's what he misses. He has plenty of personality. I've seen interviews with him. He's a very charismatic dude. It just doesn't translate to the audience.
Yeah, it's there's a thing that Bruce Pritchard says a lot when it comes to people that are like that of like backstage in interviews, a lot of personality, but as soon as that red light hits,
Yeah,
gone.
but that's why the We the People worked.
hmm
That's why I love this hat.
Yeah, it pushes him out of that awkwardness and
It pushes him
into
out of I did it for the Rock. Like
yeah.
that's what
Yep,
it is. I mean,
I gotcha.
that was literally Rikishi's biggest problem was interviews.
hmm
Same thing with same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Um, so
so Jericho upset, amazing,
yeah,
perfect, great
so
writing.
great writing. And if it was Jericho's idea, good on him. He's always reinventing things around his career.
And he's never had a problem doing the job.
No, absolutely not. Even when like the tail end of the WCW run, like he always said, like I didn't mind losing every week. It
Yeah,
was they wouldn't do anything with it.
yeah.
Like I would just lose and then on to the next thing.
And that's where this might head.
Yeah.
And
So
it's one of those things that if they're going to do this, his rematch with Claudio needs to be about 45 seconds.
hmm
Claudio comes in, some big move, pile driver ball game,
yeah.
or whatever, the
So
neutralizer ball game.
here's the thing. I would even say less than that. I'm not going to be like the jackwagon on Twitter who said you tapped out to a big swing. Weak. However, in
He
reference
clapped
to
back on it too, which made that even funnier. Jericho was like, "Fuck you, dude."
all the other moves that Claudio does, weakest thing he does. Have Jericho lose to something weaker than that.
A roll up,
A roll up. He
a,
puts him in a headlock and he passes out. Like
a single leg crab.
yeah, like just something that is just like he has lost all gumption, he's lost all oomph, he's
It
lost all
wasn't.
passion.
It was Boston Crab until Lance Storm did it. Then it was a shit. He changed the name to something Canadian.
Oh, it was something Maple Leaf. I know what you're talking about.
It may have just been the Canadian Maple Leaf
Yeah.
or the Toronto Maple Leaf. He may have actually called it the Toronto Maple Leaf, but something like that. Yeah, just Jericho goes for something. Actually, if you want to do it, have Claudio hit him with a Judas effect. Run out, uppercut, Judas effect, ball game.
Oh, no. Jericho's frustrated. Jericho runs at him. He hits him with that pop-up uppercut.
Just throws him up, uppercut, out, ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we're because I think that may be where we're headed. Yeah. Is Jericho goes on a losing streak. He loses the JAS. He loses to Claudio. Even Hagar is like, I'll be over here with
my hat.
With my hat and Daddy Magic, and like I'm gonna go. He starts losing to everybody. Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson, and everybody.
What's so good about that type of storyline?
Gets a win, which will piss Nyla Rose off, but it gets Pentaco a win.
What I love about that type of storyline is it usually ends the same way because it's this person's at the end of their career, and you got to imagine Jericho's getting at that point now. So you go on a losing streak, you start getting sympathy from the crowd because now it's visibly hurting you to lose all these matches.
Right.
And then you say, look, next match I lose, I'm done.
Who retired? Daniel Garcia.
Ooh. That'd be good.
And there's your payoff.
Ooh. Those are the matches. He has to beat everyone in the JAS. That's the task he puts on himself. All this started because I lost with you guys, and I lost all your respect. So I'm going to run through you all. And the moment I lose, if I lose any of y'all, I'm gone.
And he beats everybody but Garcia.
Yeah. Because you could beat the tag team pretty easily. Because they're a good tag team. Good tag teams tend to not be good singles guys.
Right.
That could be written away. Hagar, he could catch him off guard with a Judas effect.
Jericho's easy. 52.
Yeah. Beating Sammy, that's not going to hurt.
He's
Sammy
done it. Which those matches were always great, though.
Yeah. But then you leave it to Garcia.
Or he says he has to do this, and he loses to all of them. His last one is Garcia, and he's like, if I lose this match, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't beat any of the others. You have no reason to want to appreciate me anymore. If I lose this match, I'm done. And then Garcia beats him.
Yeah.
Because whenever he's done in AEW, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. He's the big get. Whatever year it is, he is the big get.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hell, do a WrestleMania in Canada. I'm good with it. Do one in Toronto. Winnipeg.
I mean, but if we do it in Canada, it's only going to be 60% as good as normal. Can't beat a good Canada joke.
Nope.
It's America's hat. Anyway, moving on.
We get a little talk from Ricky Starks. Lets us know that he's prepared for this match tonight. We get an FTR video package that's talking about the thing with them and the Ass Boys coming up. Chris Jericho is losing his mind back in the back room and actively destroying everything.
Literally losing his mind.
MJF and Starks are shown in their respective dressing rooms, with MJF getting a massage and Starks working out, just kind of showing how each of them are taking this seriously. And that leads us to Ruby Soho versus Tay Mello.
I love me some Ruby Soho.
I do too.
I
Um,
just and I looked at her when she came out because the whole beef about her nose. It doesn't look that different to me. It's a
it
little
doesn't
smaller, but it doesn't look that different. Like, why was this a thing?
because anytime a girl leaves and gets plastic surgery, whatever it's for, it's a girl getting plastic surgery, and people of my gender and color persuasion tend to feel like they need to say what women need to do. You
I
look prettier
forgot.
without makeup.
That's my fault. I forgot about the audacity they carry around in their fucking pocket.
Same thing happened with Asuka, just by the way. There's a lot of flack there when she took it off, and everyone's like, see, look, she looks good without makeup. Shut up, that was not the point of this. That was not the point of the. You're missing every point of what this is about. Jesus Christ.
Uh,
Anyway,
nope.
the unmitigated gall. Um,
I just
so,
the
yeah,
lines running through my head. I'm just go. Just keep going.
yep. So, I mean, this entire match is basically it's just Mello just trying
It's a
to,
fight,
yeah, it's a fight, and Mello's trying to injure the nose again. Like that's all she's trying to do. Um,
which is good writing.
it is. It absolutely should be. That should be her focus because it's a freshly repaired nose.
Right.
That should be what she's focusing on. Any sort of injury, no matter what it is, if it's someone's hand, if it's someone's nose, if someone had an orbital bone, like that should be the focus of the match. She tries to get her in. Uh, I don't know what she calls it. It's that Guerrero move that
It was a gory bomb, is what it used to
Glory
be
Bomb.
called.
That's what I was trying to think of. Um, so she's trying to get her in that. Doesn't work out. Ruby counters and hits her no future finish. Not a big fan of that finish. Just as a side
Which
note,
one is it?
her no future finish, which is essentially it's like a modified um, Sister Abigail.
Oh, okay.
Like
Is
it,
that the Destination Unknown? Is that what they're calling?
no, she's calling it no future. I think is what
Oh,
they
okay.
said. Um, I don't know. I don't like it. It's kind of one of those things like if someone was to do the Styles Clash, like that's the
Right.
Styles Clash. Don't do that. Um, but anyway, so
That's
Ruby
fair.
Soho gets the win. Post match, Anna is there and then attacks Ruby from behind. She hits a Noshigami, which is what they're calling the thing. There we go. We said the name. Um, so that gory bomb to land her on her face. So we're probably going to be
Gotcha.
playing with this broken nose for a while. Dustin Rhodes is hanging out with the best friends and who he calls the spooky guy before challenging Butcher, Blade, Sabian, and Trent Seven to a match on Rampage.
Tell me
Um,
you're old without telling me you're old.
as much as that is a why are we having this match, that's going to be fun.
It will be. It will be.
Um,
I'm
and that
just
leads
wondering who
us.
Trent Seven's going to get to twirl the mustache. Hopefully, it's Danhausen.
Danhausen comes out there with a fake mustache.
I just interaction between Danhausen and Trent Seven should be pretty good.
Yep. Um, so now that leads us to the main event. We got MJF versus Ricky Starks. Uh, Banger of a damn match. But before we even get to the match, like I had mentioned, I, I haven't noticed, and I guess it's just because it's been so gradual, but how great a shape MJF has gotten into.
Yeah, he's
Because
put the work in.
he
He's
took
put in
off,
the work.
yeah, he took off the shirt. It was just, I was like, holy hell!
Yeah,
Like,
he
um,
put in the work. I've seen a few of his tweets about it. He's at the gym putting in the
yeah,
work.
but I mean, even though Billy Gunn is still clowning him for it, though,
I saw that. I was like, bro. I
he's
mean,
needs to look like this, not just abs.
I,
I mean,
I'm
he's
not mad at Billy.
yeah,
I'm not mad. Billy
he's
is in
a
great shape.
he's 103 and veiny as hell.
Yes. So I did not like this was a winner take all. I
I don't
didn't.
disagree. I think it should have been for the
This should
ring,
have
and
been
then he went for the title and lost the title.
this should have been how we got the ring off of Max because he doesn't need it.
Right.
And then give it to Ricky and let Ricky say, I don't need it either. And then we don't have to mess with it for a year.
Yeah. Then it's
Because I
just
don't
kind of
care about
there.
that stupid ring.
Yep. Um. So since you've watched it longer than I have, is there perks to the ring, or is the ring just a championship?
The ring is I'm better than everybody else. And that's been I'm better than you and you know it. It was Ben Max's gimmick.
Okay.
Um from day one, the second this thing came out, he said I'm gonna win it. And then he did and has cheated to keep it ever since and used it on I don't know how many occasions to win matches.
So it's just an accolade. It's a trophy. It's a okay.
It's the SmackDown World Cup.
See if what do you mean the best of the World Cup?
See if Shane McMahon wants his cut back. Yeah, that's basically what it
Um.
is.
See, I think I would care more. I guess knowing that it's just another accolade, I don't care as much then that it was for all for it. Now, if the ring had a stipulation with it, like you get this ring and you get a shot,
Well, I
then
just we threw out the diamond ring at the pay per view with Mox
hmm
in favor of the Knuckles.
hmm
It's why I feel like this should have been done to get the ring off of MJF
yeah,
so that he can and he needs to stick with the Knuckles.
yeah, the Knucks need to be his thing,
So
especially after taking out William Regal with it. Like
this,
that needs to be the end all
oh,
be all.
100%. This was a great match, though.
Yeah, it was a good match. A lot
I
of
don't
good
think they
back and
have.
forth. Good.
I don't feel like they have a great chemistry in the ring, though. It seemed clunky at times.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean Starks. Well, I mean both of them really. I was gonna say Starks is still kind of young in the business.
Yeah,
But I mean MJF, he's been in it a while. But
it and it wasn't a bad match, and I'm in no way taking
no,
it.
no,
It
no,
just there
no.
were times that I'm just like, it doesn't look as smooth as I would think it would from those two.
Yeah. Um, I do like the fact that all right, so we've got Starks as a face, but we're showing that he's got um a lot of fire behind him, and it seemed like he was really pissed off in this match, and so they used that a lot. There were times where the referee was trying to pull him off of MJF. There was a point kind of in the middle of the match that kind of turned into just a hockey fight. Um,
I, I don't know. It wasn't a bad match, and I'm not taking
no,
away from just overall. It wasn't to me. It could have been better.
so watching the match live in my case, I watched it later, but
Right,
I didn't know who won it. I tried to stay away from it as much as I could.
right.
So
And I didn't say anything about it, so
yeah, um, the fact that he could have won, I liked the match. However, knowing what happened after the match, that this was just a precursor to get us somewhere else, we could have had this match later. Like
I
have the
felt like
other
it was
thing
wasted.
first. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is because like knowing that this was just a precursor to get him to a match with who we'll talk about in a minute, like that makes this
This
a
is,
lot less.
and that's why it literally should have been for just the ring,
Yeah.
and it should have been MJF lost it because he got caught with the low blow.
Yeah. Either that or let's go ahead and get so the winner and still AEW champion is still MJF. Um, so he hits a low blow, gets the cradle finish to win. A good heel thing. I mean, I don't want to put that against like a good low blow and
It
roll up
is,
is heel
but
tradition kind of.
at the
However,
same time, again,
see what I would have done considering what we're doing. So the person we're talking about is Danielson. So MJF takes a powder, goes up the ring, and then Danielson comes out. and chases
MJF
MJF.
runs like
Yeah.
a bitch.
So a little bit of rebooking to me. You have it be just for the ring. Danielson comes out and costs him.
I like it.
Yeah, because then it gives you more of a reason. Like he got a little bit of payback for what happened.
It's already
It
he's
gives
already got a
MJ,
reason, but it just adds
yeah,
to the fire. It just stokes the fire.
but now it gives MJF a reason to give him the opportunity
Yeah,
because now you took something away from me.
I agree.
So I think that plays that off a little better, and it makes Stark look still makes him look better. It sets him up as the main
I
eventer
agree.
he's eventually going to be.
I
Um,
agree.
but yeah, so he chases MJF out of the arena, comes in, raises Stark's hand for the sign off. So good match. I do agree. I think it's a wasted opportunity. I
I
think we
think
could
it's
have done
very much a
something
wasted
bigger.
opportunity. You made a big deal about this, and then he loses to a low blow and a roll up.
Yeah,
I just I felt like this was. I'm gonna put this one on Tony. This was very poor booking, in my opinion.
yeah. Um, uh, I mean, I see the idea. I see the psychology of putting Starks out there against MJF because Starks is going to be the big star eventually. That's
Yes.
eventually going to happen. Um, but to have him lose to a low blow and a roll up, it, it does make him look kind of weak, and he's not going to get payback on that for at least a while because now
Here's
we're
my
going
thing.
with Danielson MJF, and
This
so
is
what's Starks going to be
MJF's.
doing?
This is MJF's first title defense.
Yeah,
What should have been a banger of a match overall, which it was a good match, but it wasn't. It was a quality match. I'm not
mm-hmm.
taking away from that. It's not banger after banger. It's not a 5-star. It's not.
Well, we weren't building up to that finish. We were building up to what happens after the match.
Well, and I get that, but I'm just saying that if you're going to use, you're going to have go through the trouble of Ricky winning that whole fight, that whole battle royal, and then come out and take the low blow the week before, and then you end it that way,
Yeah,
and then he's lost both the title shot and the ring. You just made
yeah,
Ricky look like a punk.
yeah. It it definitely was. It could have been done better. Like I said, my concern is like, what do you do with him now?
Yeah,
Because like he got cheated out of the win, but you can't have him in and muddle up the Daniel Bryan stuff or the Bryan Danielson stuff.
unless it's one of those that Tony Khan says, "Look, that's he won that way. I'm going to give you another shot," and that's when we get the finish you mentioned that Bryan cost him the win.
Yeah, but to me,
Something like that. I mean,
if we're
I'm
gonna
sure
do
there's
that, if we're gonna do that, he needs to push the envelope more and say it's for the ring. Then, like,
yeah,
give him something out of this.
yeah. I definitely think there needs to be some kind of payoff to this because otherwise it seems wasted.
Yeah.
You could have done the same thing with Jungle Boy.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Well, and that's a good point. Like, if Jungle Boy was in this match, I guess I would kind of understand the ending more because there's
right,
no heat with Jungle Boy right now.
right. Yeah, I'm calling this one bad booking.
Yeah. Um, bad booking. Overall, as far as the matches go, though, all the matches were pretty good. Um,
Solid night.
yeah, I
That's the
think
thing. Like we've talked about with Dynamite, it delivers week after week.
yeah. Um,
It's like DoorDash; it's always going to deliver.
and for anybody listening, like we'll sit here and nitpick things. I'll nitpick the best match in the world,
Same.
but I still liked it. Like
Yeah,
it's still good to watch.
and that's
Um,
what I'm saying. It wasn't the MJF Starks match wasn't bad. I
no,
just to me the ending it's one of those, and I don't know how many times we've talked about this. WWE is was horrible about it. Wonderful matches, a dumbass ending that just takes away from everything they just did.
yeah, we had this great match, and now it ends
We started
some dumb
referring to it
way.
as a vent All the times we got together to watch preview, event special.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, that closes out their pay per view. What would you say is
Their
your
their
moment
non
of the
pay per
night?
view pay per view.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. Their PLE.
Their pay per view. Um, for me, we doing match of the night, moment of the night. What do we?
Moment of the night. I don't think it has to be a match because
The
mine's
House of
technically not a
Black thing
match.
was the House of Black thing was so. It was crazy and chaotic, but so good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Acclaim thing served a purpose. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a I'm not a fan of the Jarrett Jay Lethal tag team. I just I don't care.
Yeah, we're
I
literally
love Jay
building
Lethal.
off the fact that they tagged together for the Rick thing, and I don't care. That's the only reason you were tagging together.
Right. I love Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal is one of the most talented dudes in the world. I
Yeah.
want to see Jay Lethal and Kenny Omega. I want to see Jay Lethal and Pac. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
Jay Lethal and Moxley and Hangman and all of these other people. I don't want to see him in a tag team with Sanjay Dutt, who has become the most annoying dude in the world. He's like that friend that hangs out with the cool people and thinks he's one of the cool people,
Mm-hmm.
but he's really not. He's the guy that everybody makes fun of.
Yeah.
And then I get the Satnam Singh thing, but either put him in the ring or don't.
Yeah.
But do something with him or get him off my screen, please. Because
Especially
I
because
just,
like the way he moves when he's doing things, I think once they put him in the ring, he'll be very impressive.
and
Do
I
it,
agree.
and let's do it.
But at this point, I'm getting Great Khali vibes. And if you put him in there against MJF and give him the title, I quit. Okay? Like, do something with
Great
this.
Khali Part 2.
I don't know if it would be quite as bad as that was. But if it happens, I'm literally hooking my phone up to this ring light and recording it for you. Because,
Absolutely.
like, do something with him. If his first match, you put a title on him, I'm questioning everything at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Do something with him. I get that he's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Make me care.
Yeah.
And I think that's my
Uh,
biggest thing anymore is make me care about you. The
yeah.
Jake Hager thing is the perfect example. I don't care about Jake Hager, but this hat thing is fucking hilarious. And if we're gonna ride
Yeah.
this pony, let's go.
That's why like when I think of big men lately, so I think of Braun Strowman, I think of Omos, I think of Satnam Singh. Um, it's like they start to build up the way I think it should be, and then they drop the ball. Because to me, have him run out there for a month against a single jobber, and then two jobbers, and then maybe three jobbers,
Do the
and
Omos
then
thing.
and then some low card person, someone a Serpentico, and have him tear him up, and then someone maybe just a little higher up the card than
Tony
him.
Nese.
Yeah, and just start building it up
Have him
until you
beat Tony
get
Nese. Have him beat Tony Nese and Josh Woods because
yeah,
that's gonna matter more. Not that anybody really cares about those two, but it's gonna matter more.
yeah,
And
and
then
then you build that up to getting him to a title.
put him in there with a Brody King because he's your
Mm-hmm.
other big man right now.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
some big guys in the company like Big Cass and so on, but Brody King is a different level.
Yeah,
And then you have a reason for me to care about him at this point. So I don't know. Moment of the night, I think for me, it's got to be the House of Black thing, or it's the Jericho loss. And to
yeah,
me, those are 1A, 1B right now because they were both huge moments on the show.
yeah. Um, I won't give the Chris Jericho loss my moment yet. I want to see where that plays. I mean, for the start of something possibly amazing,
Fair point.
absolutely.
Fair point.
Where they take it is there with me. It's the House of Black. That that whole thing of them just not giving a crap and
Here's
just tearing people apart.
here's what I need. Let's just say Matt slash and or Nick is actually hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You lose the next match because he's hurt. That's what cost you the match. Immediately after that loss, the lights drop, the Elite is gone, and the House of Black is standing in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Death Triangle House of Black in that ladder match.
Yeah.
And at that point, you have no reason to not put the titles on them.
Mm-hmm.
I just, the way that they have tied the House of Black all together. So Brody and Malachi have been friends on the Indies and teammates on the Indies forever. We have the Julia with the Mist that turned her, which was
Mm-hmm.
so fucking good. He brought in Buddy because of their series in WWE, which that shit, oh my God. Those matches, I, I
There,
just,
there, there are. I'm assuming, obviously, but there is a list of people that I'm sure Tripp wishes were not in contract, and those
100%.
two people are probably very high on that list.
At this point, I think he'd take all four of them
Oh, I think you would too. But just in
because
general, as far as like taking back people that were let go for dumbass reasons,
100%,
those two,
100%, 100%.
because they're
Um,
they're serious, yes, but like Buddy Murphy, I think he's one of the most underappreciated guys that got let go
first
because
of
the stuff he
all,
was doing with Seth was amazing.
he was ripped.
Yeah.
That dude was chiseled.
Mm-hmm.
What his move set and what he can do in a ring,
It's insane.
there's not many in the business right now that can do it.
Right. He's
Um,
so like when we look at a Keith Lee, we're surprised he's so fast because he's so big. I'm surprised Buddy's so strong because he's so small and
he's
fast.
not a big dude.
I mean, it,
Um,
it, it reminds me of I was listening to a thing today about from something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, and someone had asked the question, why did Shawn Michaels and RVD only have one match? Like, why didn't that happen more often? Because that seems like it would be a great thing for them to do. And he said it wasn't a mesh of styles. They weren't great together.
yeah,
And he was mentioning like part of it is because RVD, though small, was very dense because he was muscle ass legs and like he was a strong dude
very
for
much so.
being such a small guy. And Buddy's much the same way of like he's a small dude, but he's dense as hell, able to lift people up and spin them around with no problem.
Buddy Matthews is 5'11", 225.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to bet he is
A little taller than I thought he was.
3%, 10% body fat at the most.
Oh, dude. I doubt you could pinch him.
Like, and the flip side is if you brought those two back, their spouses their other halves already work for the company.
Mm-hmm.
Because Malachi Black is married to Zelina, and Buddy and Rhea are together.
Yep.
I need him to come back and walk up to Dominic and face to face and be like, "You know who I am?" Just something to that effect.
Okay, so I have a different take on that.
Okay.
Don't have him come in yet. Have him think that he has a thing with Rhea. And Rhea breaks his heart like
And they
freaking
replace
like
and they
freaking
replace
Ralph
him with
from
Buddy on the Judgment Day.
well, yeah, but like you break his heart like Lisa broke Ralph's heart. Like let me see the
Like
moment where I can
what?
paw. Sorry, Simpsons reference. Uh,
Oh.
so there is a moment where there's an episode where Ralph, the little special one.
Right.
I was about to say a word that I can't say. Little special one. He gave Lisa a Valentine, and she took it, being nice.
Gotcha.
But then she lost her shit on him, and she's at home with Bart, and Bart's looking at the tape of when she like laid into him, and she was like, "Look, you can pause it right here and see exactly the moment where his heart breaks. I need to see that with Dom.
That's
Like,
fair.
I want to see the
That's fair.
moment where Rhea's like, "Are you stupid? Are you... No,
Yeah.
you're my little pet that I'm having out to do all this stuff. We're not together. I'm with him." And then Buddy walks in the door.
First of all, you cannot compare those two because Buddy Matthews is a good-looking man. He's ripped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, mm,
Two people that good looking should not be together. That
it's not fair to the rest of us. It's just
that's
not.
not. I don't have a chance in the world.
Nope.
Uh,
So no, good show overall.
yeah,
I'm not a fan of the booking of the finish of the main event, but that's just me being nitpicky.
it is like it's at the end of the day, Starks is still going to be a big star. Um, I do wish he'd stop doing the kid Michael Jackson impression before he comes out. Um, but is what it is. He'll work out that character. Um, as a side note, I do like that MJF did a move to Starks and then taunted him with that taunt. That was kind of nice.
The ring psychology of the match was good.
Yeah,
I just felt like there were things that could have been better.
absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. That wraps up another episode of Kicking Out at Two. Thanks for spending some time with us. If you are enjoying the podcast, please support us. Share this episode. Share our entire channel. Hit us up on our socials. We have our personal socials down below here, and we also have the whole channel socials down there. Um, what are we pointing over there? Oh,
I don't know. I'm not used to this. The camera, whatever.
I reverted my camera. I mirrored it because I did the same thing. I was having troubles. So I assume she was trying to tell you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. To catch all the latest from us, follow us here on YouTube at Kicking Out at 2. Until next time, I'm Michael. This is Tori, and we'll catch you on the next one.